This is the mulberry silkworm, the larva of the silk moth, Bombyx mori. And this little worm has a really important role in our history. You see, it gave us silk. But how did it do that? Let's follow one silk moth's life cycle all the way from egg to your clothes. Our story starts with a female silk moth sitting on a leaf, ready to lay her eggs. She lays about 300 of them, and then she dies. Eggs hatch after about 10 days into tiny silkworms. And these guys, they don't look like silkworms yet. They more resemble small caterpillars. The newly hatched silkworms immediately start searching for mulberry leaves to eat, because they will only eat these. They don't even touch anything else. Luckily, there are plenty of mulberry trees around. The silkworm's diet consists of almost 100% mulberry leaves. It eats, grows, and molts several times over the course of the next 2 weeks. Each time it does, it looks more and more like a classic silkworm. After the final molt, the silkworm reaches its maximum size, about 8 centimeters long. It is now fully grown and ready to start making silk. The process of silk making is pretty incredible. The silkworm secretes an extremely fine, yet incredibly strong silk thread from silk glands located just under their mouth. This thread is made up of protein fibers and is so thin that dozens of filaments can fit together in one human hair. The newly created silk is soft and squishy. As the silkworm moves around, it solidifies and hardens into a shiny, smooth surface. The silkworm spins around as it moves towards the top of the plant to create its cocoon. It spins the silk into a tight oval shape and anchors the end of the thread to its leaf with a bit of chewed leaf sap. With its work done, the silkworm is now completely surrounded by silk, except for a hole at one end for breathing. Inside the cocoon, the silkworm enters the pupal stage. Its body undergoes metamorphosis. It develops wings and legs and an entire new body to emerge as a fully grown adult moth. After about 2 weeks, the transformation is complete. The adult moth chews open the cocoon and emerges into the outside world. The moth then mates and lays eggs, starting the cycle anew. But what happens to those cocoons left behind by the silk moths? Well, luckily for us, we have been domesticating silkworms since ancient times. So farmers collect the cocoons before the moth emerges. They gently sort through them to make sure no moths are still alive inside, because if they are, they need to be removed before they chew their way out of the cocoon and fly away. Once it's clear that all the cocoons are ready, the farmers harvest them. They steam or boil the cocoons to kill any remaining pupae and loosen the silk threads inside. Then they unwind the silk threads from the cocoon. Sometimes the cocoons are unwound whole, but often the threads need to be carefully peeled apart. This process takes quite some time, but is totally worth it when you see the beautiful silk fabric being woven from it. Farmers sort the threads according to their color and quality, and then they send them off to silk weavers who weave the threads together to create the fabric. Multiple thin threads are woven together to make the fabric stronger. Of course, this is only a tiny part of the entire silk production process, which also includes reeling, where many individual filaments are collected together to make one continuous thread. Next comes the throwing, where several of these silk threads are twisted together to make a stronger yarn. Finally, the silk is ready to be woven into beautiful fabrics. And what kind of fabrics can be made with silk? Quite a lot, actually. Silk is mostly used to make high-quality clothing like dresses, suits, underwear, ties, scarves, and gloves. But it is also used to make home furnishings like bedding, curtains, and carpets. Silk is also used for tapestry, which are large pieces of decorative fabric with woven or embroidered designs. But silk isn't only used for these things. It is also used for parachutes, camera lenses, musical instruments, and even surgical sutures. So what makes silk such a valuable material? Well, it has several unique properties that make it useful for so many different things. First, silk is very soft and smooth. This is due to the structure of the silk fiber itself. The protein molecules in the silk fibers are arranged in a special way that gives them a smooth, silky texture. Second, silk is very strong and durable. Despite its thinness, each silk fiber is stronger than steel of the same width. This strength comes from the structure of the silk fiber. The protein molecules in silk fibers are held together by strong bonds, making them very tough and resistant to tearing. Third, silk is breathable and absorbent. This means that it can absorb moisture from the air and allow water to pass through the fabric. This property makes silk ideal for clothing and bedding because it helps to regulate body temperature and keep skin dry. Fourth, silk is flame retardant. Silk fibers do not easily catch fire, and they self-extinguish quickly when exposed to a flame. This is due to the chemical composition of silk fibers. They contain a high percentage of nitrogen, which makes them less flammable than other natural fibers like cotton and linen. Fifth, silk is naturally hypoallergenic and antibacterial. This means that it is less likely to cause allergic reactions or infections. This property makes silk ideal for people with sensitive skin or allergies. Now you may think that silk sounds too good to be true, and you would be right. Silk has some downsides as well. First, it is a very delicate fabric and needs to be washed and dried very carefully. If it is washed or dried improperly, it can shrink, wrinkle, or lose its shape. Second, silk is very expensive. It takes a lot of time, energy, and money to produce silk, which makes it a luxury fabric that only the rich can afford. Third, silk is not very eco-friendly. Silkworms are raised on a diet of mulberry leaves, which require a lot of water and space to grow. The silkworms also produce a lot of waste, which can pollute the environment. But despite its drawbacks, silk has been one of the most popular fabrics throughout history. Silk weaving started in China around 6,000 years ago and was kept a secret for almost 3,000 years. Silk traders were the only ones allowed to make and sell silk. Because silk was so valuable and rare, it became a symbol of wealth, power, and beauty. During the Middle Ages, silk was imported into Europe from Asia along the famous Silk Road. Silk became very popular among the wealthy elite who used it to make beautiful garments. In the 17th century, silk weaving reached India, where it became an important part of the economy. Today, China is the largest producer of silk in the world. It produces about 210,000 tons of silk every year. India is second with 20,000 tons per year. Other major silk producers include Thailand, Uzbekistan, Brazil, and Vietnam. So as you can see, silk has a long and fascinating history. It is a truly unique material that has been cherished by people for thousands of years. So next time you see a beautiful silk scarf or dress, remember the humble silkworm that made it possible. Now let's take a look at the Bombyx mori species. This is a domesticated species of silk moth. It is about 10 centimeters long with a wingspan of 15 to 20 centimeters. Its body is stout with a thick hairy thorax and a narrow abdomen. Its wings are large and scaly. The upper side of the wings is dark brown or black, and the underside is pale brown. The hind wings are smaller than the forewings, and they are connected by a frenulum. The moth has a small head with 2 long feelers. Its mouth is reduced and it cannot feed. The moth has 2 pairs of wings, but they are not used for flying. The moth is flightless, and it lives its entire life on the ground. The moth has no bristles or spines on its body. The moth is sexually dimorphic, which means that males and females look different. Females are larger than males, and they have thicker, hairier bodies. Males are smaller and have thinner, smoother bodies. The female also have shorter and thicker antennae, while the male antennae are longer and thinner. The lifespan of the silkworm is very short. It only lives for about 1 to 2 weeks. It lays its eggs and then dies. The eggs hatch into male and female silkworms. They mate with each other so that the females are pregnant before they even leave the cocoon. The males die after mating, and the females start spinning their cocoons. The cocoons are made of silk threads that the females secrete from their spinnerets. These threads are very strong, and they form a protective covering around the silkworm. The silkworm then pupates inside the cocoon, and it undergoes metamorphosis. It develops wings, legs, and other adult features. The adult silkworm emerges from the cocoon and it mates. The females then lay their eggs, and the cycle begins again. The larvae of the silkworm are known as silkworms. They are about 8 centimeters long, and they are white or yellowish. The silkworm has a head, thorax, and abdomen. Its head has a mouth, 2 feelers, and 2 compound eyes. Its thorax has 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings. Its abdomen has 8 segments, and it ends in a pair of claspers. The silkworm is a voracious eater, and it spends most of its time eating and growing. It eats only mulberry leaves, and it can eat up to 1 kilos of leaves per day. As the silkworm grows, it molts several times. After the final molt, the silkworm is ready to spin its cocoon. It crawls to the top of a plant and starts spinning. It spins around and around until it forms a tight oval shape. It anchors the end of the thread to the leaf with some chewed leaf sap, and then it stops. The silkworm has now spun a cocoon around itself. Inside the cocoon, the silkworm pupates. Its body undergoes metamorphosis, and it develops into an adult silkworm. After about 2 weeks, the adult silkworm emerges from the cocoon. It cuts a hole in the cocoon with its sharp mandibles, and it crawls out. The adult silkworm is now ready to mate and lay its eggs. The eggs hatch into male and female silkworms, and the cycle begins again. Now, you know all about the amazing life cycle of the silkworm and how it gave us silk. Do you have any fun facts about silkworms or silk that we missed in this video? Let us know in the comments below. Also, please subscribe to stay updated with all of our awesome videos about the amazing animals that live on our planet. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.